puts her clothes back on and is just gone. Her face is just... she's on autopilot at this point. And what I loved about it, and what Wes did so insanely well, this is when the fucking kidnappers and killers, they have remorse. They're looking at each other going, well, fuck, we went too far. Like, this is not right. We fucked up. And they're looking at each other, and they're very uncomfortable, and they're, like, trying to pick grass out of their hands. Like, they don't know what to do. They're just not... They're not okay. And I really think this is insanely powerful. All the while, Mary is walking past them, walks into the water, and then Krug grabs Weasel's gun, shoots her, and then she spins around, which is a weird death, and then they shoot her a few more times while they've cut to the dog running around hearing the gunshots, because again, in her backyard.
Right.
And then they go off and then they say, let's get cleaned up. And then this is when we cut to, I believe, Ada, and then...
Well, this is where my issue is. This is why I kind of didn't want you jumping too forward with the cops. Yeah. Is they have that powerful scene. And it is, you're not wrong, it's a very powerful scene. Mm-hmm. Wes Craven did a very good job directing the crap out of it.
Yes.
You have this fucking chicken truck thing. Like, I get why they did it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the cake thing again.
Yeah.
We saw this horrible, horrible thing. So here's a bit of a light thing to maybe ease it up a bit. But it's so fucking jarring.
But here's why. We're not used to... In 1972, they're not used to this shit. Their intent was not just to sort of ease the tension. They didn't know how people were going to react. So they figure if they have... Because this was their fucking be-all, end-all comedy act. Clearly. Mm-hmm. This was the penultimate comedy act that they were going to perpetrate. They put it there specifically for that reason, which is why it even looks weird, because they just shot it at a different time, because it's clearly ending up like in dusk about the time that this ended up happening, but the fucking Ada thing was clearly during the day. I think that they were just like, we need to fucking do something, because this is too much. I think the filmmakers, I don't think that they intended to make it this jarring. I think the filmmakers are like, we need to put in our best comedy act, because people are going to be mad because of how far we've gone here. And I think that was why. And I think they had to do it. I really do.
I just disagree.
I am the penultimate defender of this movie, by the way, and I always will be. But I think they had to do it. I really do.
No, they really didn't.
I think they did.
Because after the chicken truck scene, it's the gang cleaning up. You could have had the gang cleaning up after they killed it. You could have kept the like. I'm sorry, it's too much. It's too much. Like a comedy thing is one thing, but that my point is, it was too much. The cake is one thing, but like, this was too over the top.
Oh,
they
no,
went too over the top.
No, I know. But I think they thought that this was funny. I know.
They thought wrong.
Trust me, I am aware of that. But I think that they definitely needed to cut to something. They needed to cut to something with levity. They had to. It's the same reason why in most recently Get Out, during a very, very tense scene, they cut to the buddy making the comic relief of that fucking movie, making jokes and shit like that. The only difference was that was funny. This was not funny. That's all it was. This was not funny.
I think you could have cut. I think you could have cut to the cops having a conversation.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
It just this was not the.
Well,
thing.
I know. I mean,
basically, what I'm getting at is like, hey guys, now's not the time.
I think it was though. I think because first of all, you had to cut to something before they cleaned themselves up.
You could have cut to the cops.
I think you had. Yeah, but okay. So are you judging the fact that they cut away to something comedic, or they just cut away to this, which is not funny? That is
something
difference.
Comedic.
Because I think they needed to cut to something comedic. Because you do need levity. You fucking absolutely need levity, because of what you've just seen is fucking horrific. When you don't cut away to something more somewhat comedic, or at least something to break the tension, it's overbearing. The cops having a
conversation, maybe,
but that's not going to break the tension.
There's breaking tension, and then there's something going, whoa, well, I'm not in the mood to laugh honestly, now with the chicken lady, guys.
Honestly, I think if it wasn't the chicken lady, if it wasn't Ada, and it was just the fucking, the stupid scene with the kids fucking giving them the finger, I think you'd be a lot less hard on it.
Maybe.
I think you just don't like the fucking chicken scene because it's not funny. And I will absolutely give you that, although I do enjoy Ada. The whole scene is fucking smacks of idiocy.
No, I would have been fine with that scene anywhere else in the film. Mm-hmm. Like, if they actually reversed it.
Yeah.
If they put the chicken scene where they put the kid saying, screw you, coppers, there, and then maybe put the screw you, coppers after this,
but that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. I think you dislike the comedic scene, not the fact that they cut to something comedic.
Well, I don't need it to explain to me what I'm thinking. No, but okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Because that's literally what I said to you before. And you're literally reiterating what I said to you before. I think if you cut to that as opposed to the chicken lady, you would have liked it better. Which is what I said to you earlier. Rewind the tape.
Right.
I think that's what it is. I honestly think... Because I agree with you, because the scene is fucking terrible. And the scene is jarring as fuck. But I do honestly believe that in between that scene of Mari's death and then them cleaning, you do need to cut to something. You can't just have it cut to that.
Cut to the cops.
It's too much.
Being told to screw off by the kids in the thing.
I agree with you.
But
that's
unfortunately,
what I said originally. I agree with you.
Unfortunately, they didn't. The gang cleans up, and they go visit the Collingwoods because they see that's the only house. Because I think it is literally the only house.
It is the only house,
miles.
It is absolutely the only house.
And they get clean up fast. Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you get. How do you get that much blood out just by lake water? But okay.
Ironically, they couldn't. Because the actors are actually doing that. They couldn't get that shit off of them.
They took it. They
had to. Yeah, they had to because it was like, we couldn't. Because they and most people will say this is probably the most realistic looking blood you'll ever see because of the way that they had it. Because
it stuck to them.
Because at the time, all anyone ever used was like corn syrup and red food coloring. For some reason, it occurred to them to use red food coloring and blue food coloring, which gave it a darker tone. Which looks more realistic.
I think that's smart.
But then when it was with them in the fucking river, they could not fucking get it off. They couldn't.
So whilst they're inside the house and in their respective guest rooms,
yes,
because the mother was just, we can't have you stay at a motel.
The idea was they couldn't get to the place to fix the car because they were closed at 6. And they wouldn't let them go to a hotel, so they said stay here. At which point they also cut the cord to the TV. I'm like, I think they would notice that. If you're not going to kill them, they might notice that the cord of their TV's been cut. But okay.
Why would they cut the cord to the TV?
Because they don't want them to see that because I guarantee you their pictures all over the fucking news.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So that's why he does that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess the phone, he did it too, because they're just like, all of a sudden the phone's not working. They never said that before, but I guess the phone's not working too. So then that's when they put them in different rooms and being extremely hospitable. Literally, at one point they're just like, we'll put out extra towels for you and bacon and eggs all right in the morning. I'm like, did you expect these assholes to show up?
You just ready to go into B&B mode at any moment.
Yeah, really. I guess that's the case.
So some of them get set up in Mary's room because she's not home yet. Mm-hmm. And they find Mary's picture. And they're like, holy shit.
He literally says, you're not going to believe this. Guess who lives here? What are the odds of that? I said it's in the intro. And there's like, holy shit. And then
they have maybe the most awkward dinner scene in film history.
Which was, I believe, Wes. He loved it.
Said in a weird...
In the dark thing.
Yeah.
That was an artistic choice. I can't remember why.
Because it's just like, it's not in a room, it's in a black room.
There's a reason for that, and I don't remember what it is. I don't think he stated it on the commentary. I can't remember why he did it, but if you look at the scene, the idea behind it...
It's a very artsy shot.
It's fantastic, the way he does it. And also, Krug points it out later on. This was a commentary on the... basically the rich white people thing. Because if you look at the contrast of it, you're looking at the two people who own the place, and they're very proper and primitive.
Estelle and Dr. John.
Exactly. But you look at the gang, and they've got terrible table manners. Fucking Sadie can't stop chugging wine. They just look uncomfortable.
And they're noticing, like...
what happens is they first notice because... there's bandages on him.
Cuts.
And I think Weasel has a fucking bite mark on his hand, on his arm, which I'm like, when did that happen?
Because they're in suits and dress clothes, and they say they're not only in insurance, but they're in plumbing. And they're like, well, which is it? They're like, well, we sell insurance to plumbers.
Yeah. Because at one point...
Well, then, Weasel, you wouldn't be in the plumbing. You're just in insurance, and your main
what happened was because originally Weasel said initially that his brother was a plumber and makes more than him, and I'm like, you don't have a job, you're stealing shit, that's not making money. But anyway,
well, not legally.
Yeah. So then they ask, like, what do you do? And both him and Sadie say something at the same time. So she says insurance and he says plumbing. So it's like, well, which is it? So they make it up on the spot, which is all right. I mean, yeah, would just be insurance,
but coupled with the noticing the bites and the bandages, coupled with the fact that woman is
drunk,
housing that wine right now.
She's basically drinking it like it's her job.
She's drinking it like someone is going to take it away from her.
Well, somebody might, because somebody else might want a fucking glass. You lush.
So
the meal ends, and this is when Krug literally echoes what Wes Craven was trying to get across. He's like, "Fuck it, you got the Chinese people eating with sticks. These people have 16 forks for every pea on the plate." I'm like, there you go. That's the commentary of, rich people eat food weird, and it's true.
So Estelle kind of knows because she's speaking with Junior.
Okay, so so it's nighttime now. They're all in bed. Junior's puking his fucking guts up.
Heroin.
Well, at one point in time, Junior also was like crying and saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry" during the dinner.
Yeah.
So then Krug gets up and tells him to shut the fuck up. Meanwhile, he could fix the problem by just giving him his fucking heroin, but he doesn't. I don't understand
Here's your
why.
num-nums.
Yeah, just go off and fucking stop ruining it for us. But he never does. And they ask him a couple times, like, did you give him his fix? And he's like, no, screw him. Why? Aside from being an asshole. But anyway, so Junior's puking his guts up because he's got the fucking DTs at this point. And fucking the mother comes in. And this is the weird thing. So she's like, you all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then he leans back and he's got the necklace on and she goes, oh my God. That necklace is probably one of the most mass-produced pieces of jewelry in that time period. And I'm not lying when I say this. When I was a kid, I had one too. There's a fucking ton of those fucking
when
necklaces.
you bought it from the store, I'm sure there was a bajillion of them along with it.
This is not a clue that your daughter was killed by them. It's just not. Deal with it.
Now, when you run outside...
We're not done yet. We're not there yet. No, she goes to their suitcase.
Right.
And opens the suitcase and finds some bloody clothes. Now she's got an idea. Now it's fine. And that's when they
run outside. And then they just happen upon her.
Well, yeah, they end up in the... I guess their thought process is the only place they could... If they were going to store her, she would be in this place. Why they would think she's in the fucking area, I don't know. But they do. And that's where they find her originally alive, not so much now, although kind of hard to know.
She's moving.
Yeah. So... They bring her back and take her into the house and put her on the couch. We find that out in a minute.
Yeah.
But then they decide, we're going to fucking kill these assholes. So, in true Wes Craven fashion, booby traps aplenty, folks.
But before that, Fred has a bad dream.
Well, yeah. So, in probably the most memorable scene in the movie, Fred has a dream... that was made up on the spot, by the way. They just came up with this idea.
Right. I'm like, okay, I could see this bad dreams.
Yeah.
People dying in bed.
Huh.
Okay, Mr. Craven. He's having a nightmare.
Maybe I can use this in 12 years.
Of them being like doctors, like Scalpel.
Yeah, Scalpel. Well, she says, he says chisel.
Chisel, yeah.
Hammer.
And
then she keeps saying, and it's in our intro that I put here, like, don't move, please. Like, open your mouth, please. Opens his mouth, puts the fucking chisel at his jaw, and fucking it ends with bink, and then fucking goes black, and he wakes up like, Jesus fucking Christ.
They're gonna kill us!
Now, there was a bit of foreshadowing in this. During the dinner, Weasel started hitting on the wife.
Right.
And said at one point in time, he's like, yeah, I could fucking have a go at her, if I had the chance, whatever.
Yeah, the lady of the house is pretty, Yeah,
shit like that. And then, so he goes downstairs... to raid the icebox, as he says, and finds her jiggling the noisiest glass of fucking liquor there is. I like the sound in this, but I'm like, wow, that is the noisiest fucking ice I've ever heard.
Tink, tink, tink,
click,
tink, tink,
click, 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 click. I like
I'm
the
over
sound.
here!
I think it sounds great, but it's just so odd.
And he kind of leans in the door like, well, hello.
Hello there, pretty lady. Meanwhile, fucking... John's downstairs.
John's Kevin McCallum staring the house.
Not yet. He doesn't do that yet until they leave. But no, he's downstairs finding a shotgun. Because apparently everybody in the 70s had a fucking gun. But he only has one bullet. So, you better fucking do this right. Yep. So he finds the shotgun, and he's doing this whilst, they're hitting on each other. And she's just like, oh, I want to fuck you and all this. And
but let's do it outside.
And he says, I can make love to a looker like you with my hands tied behind my back. That's very important.
Poor choice of words.
You would think. So there, she's like, let's just do it outside. And he's like, outside? She's like, yeah, it'd be romantic. And I'm like, all right.
It's part of my fantasy.
Which is why, to this day, if any woman ever fucking says to me, let's do it outside, I'm like, nope, I know where this goes.
I've seen that movie.
Uh-huh. So
whilst John is like setting up fucking
now
electric
he's setting up
doors
traps. He's setting up this weird thing with somehow the fork can somehow stay in there whilst he's going to trip him. So he sets up a tripwire on a fork that's in